all of the common types of eye defects that you could have, and also what you can do in terms of correcting it. Joining us on the program this afternoon, it's a pleasure to have her back. She's been away for a bit. She's a very busy eye doctor. Our guest is Dr. Priscilla Imade. She's an optometrist. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
It's good to see you after a long time. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you very much.
All right, so we're looking at eye defects on the show today. So, of course, first of all, let us look holistically at this organ called the eye. You know, what is it really about?
Yeah, well, let me just take us back a bit. You know, we have 5 sense organs in the body. The eye to see, skin, tongue to
feel,
taste, and all that. Of the 5 organs, the eye is the most utilized. And for us as optometrists, we keep saying and we believe that the eye is the most important organ in the body. Even the Bible says the eye is the light of the body. And if you recall, anytime you have an ailment and you visit your GP, your doctor, he will always look into your eyes to see, you know, how well or how healthy your eyes are. The state of your eyes will go a long way to tell the doctor, you know, what exactly is going wrong in your body system. So the eye is very, very important. But we have also seen certain statistics or studies that have shown that as important as the eye is, many people rarely take the initiative to take care of the eye as an organ. In fact, some people don't even know the value of their eyes until they develop issues with it. Yes, this ought not to be. The eye should be taken seriously. You can imagine, you know, what the world would be like if you close your eyes for like 1 minute. Can you drive a car? No, or can you walk around your office? Maybe you might try, but you will bump. Can you pick the colors of your clothes? So the eye is very, very important. And we should all, as a matter of responsibility, begin to take adequate care of our vision. We shouldn't wait until there are defects. Yes. Because before now the emphasis is on preventive medicine, not
curative.
Yes. Because most problems, whether in the eye or in the body, they really do not have a cure. Yes. How many problems? You look at it, even as simple as malaria is, you see it keeps coming back. You can't say you've treated it today and that's why you're exposed to the causative factor. You keep having it over and over again. So the emphasis is on prevention. Let us learn to prevent eye defects, eye problems, so that we don't start looking for solutions.
So when we could have ordinarily prevented it. Yes. Okay, let us even get into the eye defects as they are, because there are several of them. Because even nowadays you find them children very little using corrective lenses. I don't know how they got to that stage. You did something they got through their parents. What are the side effects really?
Yes, thank you. I want to look at it from 2 perspectives. Okay. When we talk about the eyes, anatomically, that's the way the eye is structured. Yes. Let's say we'll divide the eye into 2 portions. We have the anterior segment and the posterior segment. The anterior segment is the part you see. As we are looking at me now, the black, the white, the exterior, the ocular agnesia, those are the external part of the eye. Then you have the part of the eye that is inside the head, which we call the posterior part. The eye is actually like a ball, you know, with the anterior part showing and the posterior part in.
Can we, sorry I'm butting in, can we use layman English so that people can, I know what posterior and anterior, but let's say the inside and the outside, so that people can follow.
Thank you. So the eye is divided into 2. You have the outer part that we see commonly, this white and black, and then the inner part that we don't readily see. Most times for people, when problems are going wrong with the posterior part, that's the part of the eye that is inside the head that people don't readily know about, those are the ones that are very, very disturbing and can be very debilitating. And most times you can't detect those problems on your own at home, except you go for an eye examination. And as well as those problems, whenever they are detected, the treatment regimen might take a longer time, and the prognosis may not be as good as the ones that, you know, has to do with the part of the eye that we are seeing. Yes, except you go for eye examination on time, the problem is detected on time and is treated. Now, away from that, looking at, you know, the statistics of eye defects, you know, those days when we were growing up, it was hard to find a child, for example, having maybe what we call glaucoma or high intraocular pressures. But these days, you find out that, you know, these figures are increasing. So it's important for us to know that most times eye problems now can develop at any age. In fact, from the time a child is born, from there till the child grows into adulthood, the eye is not fully developed when a child is born. So as the child is growing, the eye is growing as well, it's differentiating. So any obstruction in those developmental processes in the life of that child can result in a defect in the eye. So it is important that once you give birth to your child, first the pediatrician will check the eyes of the child, check for the reflexes, and as the child goes to 6 months, the eyes too will be checked. 1 year, it should be checked. 3 years, the eyes are checked. Then as the child moves from one class to another, that means yearly the eyes are checked. Then as the child becomes, you know, pass through the age of the teenage ages, then at least 2 yearly it should be checked. And then when you get to 40, at least we advise here that the eye should be checked every year, because most problems in the eye, they come in unaware. We are really not able to see. And so you have to see your optometrist or your ophthalmologist to be able to examine that your eyes are okay, they are developing well, there are no problems that can result in more serious conditions as one is growing.
Okay. So, all right, we'll come back to eye defects in children, because I know that is an area that is very tricky. You know, it's not very easy to detect because they are children, but then they always come with complaints. So you tell us what parents should actually watch out for, those kind of complaints. But before we get into that, let's look at refractive errors, because those are also part of eye defect. So let's analyze the different types of refractive errors.
I was going to say earlier that when we are looking at eye defects, we look at it from two perspectives. One group is what we call refractive errors, and then the second group is what we call pathological conditions. Refractive errors simply means, let me break it down, what we call short sight, long sight, astigmatism, or presbyopia. Those are refractive errors. They may not necessarily be caused by diseases. They can, you know, be part of the person's anatomical structure. For instance, if you have in a family a father that is short-sighted, it's possible that, you know, if he has 4 children, at least one of them will inherit that short sight. So those are refractive errors. Refractive errors basically means short sight, or you can call it errors of refraction. That means as the person is seeing, you see, let me digress a bit. We see by light. When you open your eyes and you are looking at an object, you see, images, I don't know if we still remember some of our physics. Images, your rays of light will emanate, you know, from your eye to the
image.
Yes, so the object you are looking at. And then it comes back again, you know, goes to the brain. We have refractive structures in the eye that will send the transmission to the brain. And then the brain will now interpret the image you are seeing. Now, these processes, there's what we call the visual pathway. When there is an obstruction in that pathway, let's say a ray of light, if you remember our physics, rays travel in straight lines. So if there are distortions, sometimes the images can now, you know, be formed either in front of the retina, which we call short sight, or the image can be pushed further past the retina, which we call long sight, or sometimes this rays focusing can result in aberrations on the eye surface, either on the cornea or sometimes, you know, on other refractive structures, which can result in what we call astigmatism. So they are just errors of refraction. That's problems or abnormalities that has to do with the way the eye is seeing an object and the brain interpreting. So those are refractive errors, and they are very common.
Let us take them bit by bit, so we don't just clog all of them up together. And let's you started with the reaction. Okay, let us really get into basics. As in, what is who is suffering from a short sight? What are the symptoms you see?
Okay, short sight tends to be one of the most commonest, you know, eye defects or refractive errors that we see around here. For somebody that is short-sighted, it means that you are not able to see what is far. For a child, the teacher might write something on the board. The child is not able to see it clearly. The teacher may write maybe N, the child could write W, or does not see it at all. So the distance is blurry. For a driver, you are driving, you are not able to see up to 6 meters. You see to a certain extent, you can't see further than that. So that is short sight. Although other conditions too can result in one not being able to see very well at far. But basically, for us to understand what short sight is not being able to see far. And then people who are short-sighted can be corrected with glasses. You give them what we call concave lenses, and their eyes are good. And let me just chip this in. There was, I think, during the Paralympics, my association, the Nigerian Optometric Association, you know, did some screening for in one of the states in the School of the Blind. And funny enough, they saw some children who have been wrongly put in the School of the Blind that were just short-sighted. They have very high degree of short-sightedness.
Wow.
Then probably they were not examined. Maybe they were born like that. And over the years, these children were not seeing.
Oh, no,
so they just
glasses.
put them, yes. Some of them had like -20 for a concave lens for the child at least to be able to see. So short sight is an incapacitating eye problem. And people readily notice that, you know, compared to maybe the long sight. Because for somebody who is long-sighted, he will be able to see things that are far there, but he could have, you know, blurry vision at near. But even at that, he can maybe move and all that, and you might not really feel it as much as. But when it's a combination, maybe you have a long sight, which we call hyperopia, in addition with astigmatism, one may start having headaches and other complaints. Sometimes you have the eyes being red, you can have itchy eyes. Sometimes discharges can be coming on from the eye if there are infections superimposed, and other complaints that the person would, you know, readily notice. So, but whatever the type of refractive error, it's important for you to have your eyes examined. The optometrist will diagnose you properly and give you the right glasses that will correct that problem. The good news is refractive errors can be corrected
using glasses.
Using glasses.
You must
yes. Sometimes you can do surgery if you so wish.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. To
But
correct.
you can't treat them with medication. You must use glasses.
Yes, it's glasses.
Okay. All right. While we're still talking about refractive errors, does the shape of the eyeballs, does it also tell, or does it indicate what kind of refractive error someone can have? For instance, people with bulging eyeballs, does that affect their sight in any way, their vision?
Well, the shape of the eye may not primarily determine the kind of refractive error a person may have. But there are some eye problems, there are some eye diseases that could make the eyeballs to be bulgy, which can actually affect, you know, how clear the vision is. But it's when you go to the clinic that the doctor will actually determine that. And then as for how the eye looks, we have some maybe children that have what we call half-past 4 eye, strabismus, and all that. Yes, that too can affect, you know, how sharp a child's vision could be. But you can't just look at somebody facially and say, oh, you have short sight or this or that. No. But there are certain characteristics that one may have to watch out for. And in addition to that, you need to do the diagnostic test. You need to have an eye examination. And the doctor will actually determine and say, okay, this is it. Yes, this is it.
What about people with maybe albinism? Are they really prone to being short-sighted?
Yeah, there are different types of albinism. I think they just celebrated their week. This month or thereabouts. Yeah. There's what we call ocular albinism. That's the albinism that affects the eye. And you find out that commonly albinos could have, because they don't have melanin, and you know this is our weather condition, the sun is a very big issue for them. They could have commonly what we call nystagmus. You see their eyes shaking. Nystagmus means shaking. I just seeing it pom, 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 pom. Because it's shaking intermittently like that, it's difficult for the eye to get a sharp focus.
To focus,
And you know the eye is like a camera. If you cannot focus your camera very well, you will get a sharp image. So same thing for the albinos. Most times they come down with refractive errors, but when they are attended to on time, many of them can be corrected and all that. So, but they have their own eye issues. Yes.
All right, let's talk about the eyes and age. Because when you look at people, the aged amongst us, you find out that eye problems becomes like a norm.
Yes.
Every aged person you see must have an eye issue. Yes. What is it about the eye and age?
If we look at it closely, age and vision go parallel. They go pari passu. With increase in age, the eye will naturally reduce in its effectivity. Yes, from the time a child is born, I told us before, the eye is differentiating. As it's differentiating, when you get to 20, you get to 25, you get to 40, many people actually start noticing the problem we call presbyopia at about the age of 40. It can be earlier for some people, like maybe 35 or older. You find out that when you get to 40, above 40, you have difficulty reading tiny prints. You find some people having to push their book at a distance to be able to read.
Yes,
then
I'm present. Thank you very much. I'm present.
You should come for an eye test.
I'm present. Yeah. Okay.
So difficulty reading maybe your Bibles early in the morning or at night, then you need more light to be able to read.
Exactly.
So that is presbyopia.
I'm sorry I have to butt in here because I'm going to forget this. I was having this discussion some time back, because it's becoming more and more difficult to read finer prints.
Yes.
And somebody told me that you don't really need to wear glasses. You just need to increase the volume of lighting. When you're reading. Is that also acceptable?
Has it helped you?
Well, I found out that when the light becomes brighter, you see more. Yes. But is that recognized, medically?
Yes, it is.
It is.
Because with more light, we see by light. It's light that makes us see.
So the more the light, the better your vision.
The better you see when you are 40 and above.
Okay.
But then it will get to an age where even with the more light,
the light won't help.
Because the natural lens in the eye is getting old.
Getting old and getting weaker.
It's getting opaque. You may have to, get plus lenses to strengthen its power. Okay. And then for people who have cataracts, the lens may have to be replaced and a new one will be put for them to be able to see. So that is just a remedy. It's just a palliative measure. Okay. It's not actually a remedy. Yes.
Okay, fine. Still talking about the vision and age, some people who have to use glasses, just for reading, they tell you that they only need it for reading, but when they need to see normally, they don't need their glasses. How does that really work?
Yes, that has to do purely with age, what we call presbyopia. For somebody who is simply presbyopia, no other eye problem superimposed. It's purely an age thing. As you advance in age, at about 40, the natural lens in the eye becomes a bit weak. The power of the lens is reduced, so you need to strengthen it by getting reading glasses to help you to be able to read. Also, don't forget that at about the age of 42, most other problems in the body start creeping up. That's when people start detecting that they are hypertensive and all that. And then as you gradually increase in age, you discover that so many other functions in the body will start depreciating. Take for example, the hair on the head can start growing from black to white. Men can start experiencing drop in libido and all that. As these things are going on, the same with the eye. In fact, age will tell faster on the eye than on any other part of the body. Wow. When you were 20, maybe you could do a dash, 100-meter dash. But at 40,
you can't even go for 10 minutes.
Wow.
The same thing with the eye.
All right, so the benchmark actually is 40.
With 40, that's when you need to be cautious of your eyes.
Okay. All right, we're still discussing